What's up, guys? I worked for an Inc. 2000 coaching company, and we did $5 million a year while I was working there. So between $500,000 and $600,000 a month. And I'm going to give you the blueprint for free, 100% for free. There's 4 steps to this process, and I'm going to break down everything for you. There's nothing that I'm going to sell you. I'm going to give you the blueprint, and if you follow it, you can execute this and have a $10,000 to a $50,000 coaching company. We regularly had clients that we're doing over $100,000 with this exact system, and I'm gonna give it to you. So the first step, which is on a very high level, on a fundamental level, you need to be able to attract people into your world. And in 2025, the way we do that is through content, but the truth is you don't have to do content. You could go to networking events, you could do literally posting an advertisement on a light pole. It doesn't matter how you do it, but in 2025, the way we do it is social media, right? You need to be able to attract people into your world. So whether that's Instagram, whether that's YouTube, whether that's LinkedIn, whether that's Facebook, whatever it is, you need to have an attraction mechanism. The 2 that I would recommend specifically if you're a coach, right? Because this is a video for if you have an info product or a coaching product. The 2 that I would recommend are, in order, YouTube and then Instagram. So the reason that I recommend YouTube is, guys, if you go to your homepage, you're seeing videos from 6 months ago, a year ago, sometimes 10 years ago. There's no other platform that circulates information like that. And so YouTube is just ridiculously powerful. The other reason that I recommend YouTube is it's literally on easy mode right now, which means that if you go to your homepage, you'll have all the people that you subscribe to, or you'll have all the people that you normally watch, and then there will be some random 100 views or 1,000 views that's popping up on your homepage. So YouTube is incentivizing creators, specifically new creators, to get into the game. And they're pumping that out, and they're specifically putting a spotlight on those type of people. So the first step in this process is you need to be doing content. Now, specifically, I would start with 3 to 5 pieces per week. And if you're doing YouTube, that might be 2 long form pieces of content and then doing some shorts, okay? So anywhere from 3 to 5, don't overthink this. You can go on ChatGPT and literally go into your niche, whatever your niche is, and say, hey, what are the top 5, use this exact prompt I'm gonna share with you, literally this exact same prompt. What are the top 5 pain points of my audience? Let's say that you're helping busy moms lose weight. Hey, ChatGPT, I want to understand the top 5 pain points of my avatar. They are moms that are from the age of 30 to 55 and they want to lose weight. And you can literally just have a conversation with ChatGPT. From there, say, hey, I would like you to create me 50 pieces of content with a clickbait title, with a hook, and with the actual scripted meat or body of the piece of content. Guys, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever it is, it can do everything for you. There's no reason that you can't do this. It literally would take you 30 minutes to do this. That is the first piece, the attraction piece. The second piece is, after you have all these people that are in your realm or in your world, you have to have a way to have a conversation with them. You have to have a way to take them from just viewing you to actually engaging with you. So a couple different ways you can do that. You can either, if you're on Instagram, you can actually have a DM with them. If you're on YouTube, you can create a website for people to go to either fill out a type form or a VSL, or if you don't know what a VSL, it's a video sales letter, to book a call. But the most important thing is, in that second step after they're in your world, is you have to have a way to have a one-on-one conversation. Email, type form, VSL, DM, it doesn't matter. There's a bunch of different mechanisms. Specifically, you have to have a way to understand what is their pain, because people buy their way out of pain. So again, in that example, if the moms that want to lose weight, they are thinking to themselves, man, I've just been overweight for a decade. I don't feel good in my body. I don't look sexy when I take my clothes off, and I don't feel good during, intimacy, whatever it is. There's some pain that they don't want, that you need to figure out how do you connect with them and show them that you can actually help them. So that's the second step. My recommendation as you're starting out, I would not do email, I would not do type form, I would do a DM. So if you're on Instagram, it's just getting in a conversation, having as many conversations with real people as you can so that you can hear the way that they're talking about their problem. And then the second way that I would do it is to create a VSL, a video sales letter. I'm not gonna go super in depth into that on how you create that. That's a little more nuanced. I could create a whole separate video for that. But again, ChatGPT is your friend, okay? So if you want to do the research on this stuff, you absolutely can. So that's the second piece. The third piece now is you need to be able to actually enroll them into your program. So that really just means you need to have a sales process. Okay. Now, super simple. I'm not going to make this complicated. You can do a 1-call sales system, a 2-call sales system. As you're starting, I will give it to you absolutely for free. I don't really want to go into the depth of what sales is and how do you do that in this video. I want to give you the high level. Again, if you don't want my sales framework that is literally $5,000 that I will give you for free, go to ChatGPT and say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm in the high ticket sales space. I'm a coach. I'm an infopreneur. Please help create a sales script for me. And it will do it. It will be amazing, but it'll give you a shell and something to work off of. And I guarantee if you take action, you can make something happen from it. So the third part is, after we have the attention of the people, after they know who you are, they know, like, and trust you, after you've had a conversation with them, or they're come into your world in a more one-on-one way, we need to have a way to sell them into our program, or we need to have a way to actually enroll them into our program. So that's the third piece of this super high level puzzle. And then the fourth piece and the last piece is you need to be able to actually deliver results. Okay. If you haven't helped people lose weight, then none of this works. You need to pick a realm or do something that you actually have experience in. And for most of the clients, I tell your ideal client as you're starting is probably you 2 years ago or 5 years ago, or some problem that you solved. So maybe you lost your own weight, or maybe you were disciplined and you figured out how to be disciplined, or maybe you didn't know how to speak to women and now you know how to speak to women. Whatever it is, whatever problem that you've solved, and it doesn't have to be yourself, but that's a good place to start. If you had some pain 5 years ago and you figured out how to overcome it, banging your head against the wall, and you figured it out and become a better version of yourself, that is almost always a great way to start as an ideal client. So you need to have a skill set that you can deliver. And I need to touch on this, guys, because it's really, really important. You do not need to be a 10 out of 10 to start. So let's just take the weight loss example as an example. You do not need to be a fitness influencer with an 8-pack and, ooh, look at those muscles, baby, with amazing big muscles and huge pecs and 6% body fat. No, you need to be 1 or 2 levels ahead of your ideal client. So that means if you're a 5 out of 10 in terms of your expertise, you can work with anybody that's a 3 out of 10, a 2 out of 10, a 1 out of 10. In fact, when you are a 5 out of 10 and you work with a 3 out of 10, it's more relatable. If there's somebody that is 30 pounds overweight and then there's some fitness influencer who looks like he's been cut out of glass, they might not even relate to that. So the truth is, start where you are at. Cannot stress this enough. Start where you're at. You're going to get better over time. You're going to acquire more skills in the process, but you need to start to be great. Okay. So start where you're at. You're going to get better. But that fourth piece is the delivery component, which is you need to actually have a program. And generally when you're starting, what I would suggest is starting with an 8-week program. That's a really, really good place to start as a coach, as an infopreneur. The reason for that is anything shorter than that, it's hard for people to actually see results, and anything too much longer than that. So if you say, hey, commit to me for 6 months, it can be quite daunting, and people start to say, I don't have the time for that, or now is not a great time. Let me wait till this family vacation is over. Let me wait till I get back from blah, blah, blah. Let me work to wait. A lot of excuses can come into the play after that fact. So generally what I like to say is 8 weeks is a great sweet spot, usually 8 to 12 weeks. I personally recommend 8 weeks. The reason I recommend 8 weeks is if you get to 8 weeks and you're like, you know what, I need to work with this client for another 2 to 4 weeks, your client is never, ever, ever, ever going to be upset when you say, hey, I'm going to actually gift you 3 more weeks of coaching so that we can get you to that point. So, but if you say, let's work together for 12 weeks and then you're kind of done after 8 weeks, then it just fizzles off. So start with 8 weeks. That's a good starting point. And then you can always extend it or make it smaller depending on what the actual result is. Okay. But guys, I can't stress this enough. Like, this high level blueprint of you need to attract people into your world. You need to be able to engage with them through email, whether that's through VSL, whether that's through booking a call. Shrink down that window. So that's the second step. The third step is having a sales process, having a sales framework, which I'll put a link actually in there, and then you can send me an email with your email, and then I'll send that to you directly. Sales framework piece. And then the last piece rather is you need to deliver. So you need to have a program. Again, hey ChatGPT, I'm helping people lose weight. Build me an 8-week program week by week. I'm a coach that would help people lose weight, help me break it down week by week. Pretend that you're a weight loss coach that's been doing this for 10 years. How would you break this down? Literally, guys, you can figure out all this by yourself. If you want my help with it, you can reach out to me and I will absolutely help you, but you can figure this out.